Hi, welcome to another episode of Bible Breakdown. If you notice, I'm not using too many notes. I'm not trying to be real polished. A lot of it, I'm talking kind of off the top of my head and presenting this to you because I don't want to get stuck in some kind of notes or anything like that. But I'm, I'm not trying to be formal and casual. Just the two of us here together, and I'm asking you to look at things and to listen to what I'm saying and understand that the things that I'm presenting to you is really not my own even. These are things that our scholars have been talking about and teaching for 2,000 years. So this is nothing invented. It's been the basic position of the early church fathers. They were premillennialist in all of their ideas to begin with. There was no such thing as post and amill and all the other views that have come up since then, especially dispensationalism. None of that stuff was taught or even thought about in one sense in the early church fathers. They had a real simple system of understanding is that, yeah, they believed and they expected Christ to come at any time, but that didn't demand that he was. What they demanded was that Christ would come, he would rule on earth through that millennial kingdom, and when he came, he would kill the beast and destroy all that was going on, as described in Revelations. The tribulation period, he would come at the end of that tribulation period, set up his millennial kingdom. Satan would be bound, and then at the end of that 1,000 years, that time period, that perfect time period, Satan would be released again and deceive the nations and the people, and Christ would call down fire, and that would pretty much be the end of everything. And then everybody who has ever lived, from Adam on through, would be standing before the throne and be judged. At that judgment, you were rewarded, or you were rewarded with your punishment, being separated from God forever. In the meantime, while that judgment is going on, Christ and God remake the all the heavens and the earth and recreates it, makes it like new. All this junk that we've put on the earth, I mean, he turns it back into a pristine, beautiful place, and that's where at the end, after the judgment, that we come down out of heaven with him back to this earth where we live with God face to face. This place was made for us to live with him face to face, physical. All of this creation was created so that we can enjoy God's greatness and to look at all the great things that he has done and the things that he's got planned for us hasn't even entered our imaginations. We have no clue what's going to happen afterwards, other than that we get to live with him face to face. And the nations all become healed again, meaning that we're all speaking one language. There's no more divisions between us. We're all one people, one in Christ. And that is the whole goal of the full restoration. The curse is gone. This earth, the curse that was placed on it, gone. There's no more. There's no more giving in marriage. So there's no more kids needing to be born. All of that is the part that has changed and doesn't stay the same. So I've been talking about the second coming, and we talked about the early church fathers and what they believed. We talked about when he comes, or where he comes, is to Jerusalem. And the other three things then are four things are very touchy. Of course, it's when he comes, how he comes, and then what happens when he comes that we want to deal with. And how? I'm not going to touch this right now because I want to save it for the debate with Joel. And I'm not going to go through all of my arguments because it'll take a little bit longer than 7 minutes, and I don't want to do that. But why is he coming? And when we look at Revelations, the reason he's coming, of course, is that tribulation period is a judgment on the church, tribulation on the church to purify her, to get her back to what she was. And the judgment is coming based on Revelations in those 7 letters. He talks about the failures of the church. And he's getting across the fact that the churches need to get their act together. That's why those warnings are there. Whether it was back then and here now, it is always true that the churches have always fallen into some kind of disrepair, or if you could use that word, at some point in time, and we've always had our problems. But even now, lately, it's we're entering back into a dark ages where everybody believes what they want to believe. So it's getting bad again. But the reason he comes then for is to reclaim his church and pull them out of this world. Creates him as his army, and we come back, and he kills the beast and sets up his kingdom. That is the whole reason why. It brings the conclusion of these last days. And when I talk about last days, if there are 7,000 years in history, and we're at the last 2,000 or so, that can be considered the last day. Just like 7 days in the week, if I come to Thursday, it's the last few days, it's the last days of the week. It's the same kind of simple concept. So yes, those last days can last for 2,000 years if it's been 5,000 years since he's been here, since Adam and Eve. And I'm just throwing a number out there. Nothing intended specifically in that. But he comes to judge the world of the ungodly and to destroy it. So why, how, when? If I was to touch the when right now, here's the thing I would have to say. And what the Bible teaches is that no one knows the hour. He comes like a thief. So he's not going to give you a sign of when he's coming. No thief says, hey, I'll be there, in a few days and stuff there, and you'll see the sign. Once you see the sign of the red candle in there, know that I'll be there that night. Hey, thieves don't operate that way. When he comes, nobody's going to know when he comes, and it's going to happen. The only thing that we're going to be seeing is the events of the tribulation of Revelation coming to pass with the kingdom of the beast and being set up for 42 months. That is our only real clue that days. I don't believe in a pre-trib rapture. That would be something else I would get into at another time. That does not work at all. And where I completely disagree with dispensationalists over that point. Especially when the first rapture, or the first resurrection has to do with people that were killed during the tribulation period. You can't have them being resurrected before they're killed. That's just kind of common sense. So why? He comes to set up his kingdom, and he comes to kill the beast and end the rule of the beast and end that judgment. Because again, if he does not come, there would be no flesh that would survive the judgments that are coming on this earth. Yes, it's a very scary thing. But we who are in Christ, we have nothing to fear. Nothing to fear whatsoever. In fact, it'd be pretty exciting to see what it all happens out. Okay, enough for this right now. I don't want to labor on. It is getting late. I might be getting a little bit loopy and tired. So you guys have a good night, and we'll talk to you later.